Shout out to the man that is joining us right now via phone and video.
Satellite, absolutely.
I'm not sure how many satellites are being used, but I assume there is a satellite or two being used. A man joining us right now has turned a school into a dominant football program, has turned a city into a state, has made the entire world recognize that the Cincinnati Bearcat football team is nothing to fuck around with.
Hell
Ladies and gentlemen, head coach of the number 7 overall ranked team in the country, going into Notre Dame this weekend as a favorite, the head coach of the University of Cincinnati Bearcat football team, Luke Fickell.
Yeah!
How are you, Coach?
I'm good. I didn't know it was a gun show today, so I didn't wear my tank top, so I apologize. If I'd have known, I got a little heads up, I'd have done some curls and looked a little bit closer to what you look like, Pat.
Well, actually, no curls done here. This is natural, okay? I woke up like this, Coach. All right, this is kind of how I am. And to be honest, I have a sleeveless Cincinnati hoodie that I got the week that I came and got a chance to call the opener against UCLA a couple years ago when, I don't want to say this entire dynasty started, but it was really starting to kick off there. And I couldn't find the sleeveless hoodie, actually. So I was trying to represent. I apologize, but you guys have been nothing but nice to us, so we appreciate that. Now your program, though, Coach, is at an incredible spot. I mean, whenever we were talking to you before that UCLA game, I remember asking you, and you had a lot of confidence in Desmond Ridder. You had a lot of confidence in the team that you were putting together. I mean, it was really cool now to see here a couple years removed from that convo, and it feels like your plan's going in. Notre Dame, your favorite this weekend. Just your thoughts on the program as a whole and where you are right now. You have to be living a dream right now.
At times, that's true, but no, it's been great. Obviously, Desmond Ridder has given us an opportunity to play a lot more on the national stage because of what he has done. But to be honest with you, a lot of things around him as well. The defense has been good over the last few years, and I think the biggest difference from the beginning of the year last year to where we are now is there's some more weapons around Desmond Ridder. So I think he's a lot more comfortable and confident and not having to do everything himself. But he's got some guys that can make some things happen as well. And I think that's the biggest growth that we've seen, where in year 1, 2, and 3, I think Des had to do a lot of things, not saying himself, but create a lot of things, whether with his feet and, manufacture some more things. I think where we are growing and have grown because of the success we've had is we've put some more pieces around him to give him a little greater opportunity to make some big plays.
Yeah, and I didn't mean to ever say, because your defense has been dogs since the day I think you got there, and that's kind of your specialty. But that team has just been awesome to watch. You guys are now, back in the day it was UCF, right? UCF was this team that was in the Power 5 conference that was making runs, but never was really getting national spotlight or prominence because then they couldn't get into the playoff. It was a big deal. They went undefeated. They crowned themselves championship. Now UC is that team that all these Power 5 schools are probably looking at like, hey, we need you to go on a run. How has that been? Now I know you guys are going to the Big 12 and everything like that, but still, how has that been knowing that, hey, you're not only against like a lot of great teams you got to play every single week, and you got to get a group of 18 to 22-year-olds ready to go every single week you got to take the field, but also you're in a conference potentially that won't allow you to reach the maximum goal. Do you ever talk about that? Is that something you guys ever chat about or no?
No, the big thing is we try not to differentiate ourselves from anybody else. And for many reasons. Obviously, we don't want our guys to feel like, they're inferior by any means, or the league is. But it's also so that you don't have any crutches. You don't have any excuses. I mean, everybody has to play the game. Now, we all know that there's different opportunities based on sometimes your schedule and how things go. But the reality is, for the 18 to 22-year-olds, you want them to know or think or believe that there's nothing different, no matter what. Do you control your own destiny? Well, you always control your own destiny. I don't know that means whatever it is that you do will take you to a playoff. But no matter what, you control your own destiny, especially when you kind of focus on, hey, the most important thing for us is to play for championships. And, so I think that's where we have been when we came in here. We tried to keep that mentality the same, whether, everybody else is talking about other things that might be the most important thing to your program. Try to keep it as focused into the things that from year 1, when you said we were pretty good, when actuality, you might need to check back on that. We gave up like 560 yards rushing to Navy that year. But, hey, that's the past, and I appreciate we know we get better as you get older. as a player and as a coach. But nonetheless, we've come a long way, and we at least got ourselves in a position where, hey, we control our own destiny, and it's nice to have other people talking about other destinies that you could go to.
Yeah, I put you guys in my Final Four, I think, like 5 straight weeks whenever I had the opportunity to. I was like, Cincinnati's going, just because I love the thought of you having to build a program from a place that maybe doesn't have a factory going into it and has already been there, and that state of Cincinnati and how everybody has bought in over there. I think it is just a beautiful thing. It should be talked about more, and I think a lot of people are going to be watching you guys this weekend. Notre Dame, hey, this is a big stage, right? This is a massive fucking stage. I think Drew Brees is going to be calling this game.
Whoa.
Drew Brees is going to be calling this game. You guys are going in their favor. This is huge. I assume, though, with what you chatted about a couple years ago, with where your maturity of your team is now, you guys are embracing this, excited for this, and can't wait to show the world, or what has your message been almost?
Well, to tap into what you said a few seconds ago, you put us in your pick. I think, I'm not saying it's because you didn't come out and make a big stand right there when we punted the ball to you, and you were kind of on the hot seat right there, and you did a hell of a job. I got to say, I thought maybe you would fold. I thought maybe you were really a kicker that might fold a little bit in a different situation under pressure, but you didn't.
Thank you.
But I also think you might like to put us in there because I think maybe a little controversy isn't a bad thing for you. You may kind of embrace some of that, but besides the point, I love it that you have us in there. Yes, this is huge for us, not just to go on the road, but to get an opportunity to play. I always talk about top 10 programs. We went to the bowl game as well. You got to have an opportunity and you got to do some things against top 10 programs. That's where we strive to be as a top 10 program. This week, we're probably facing one of our first real top 5 programs, a team that in a program that's in the last 8-10 years, obviously has made, I think, 2 or 3 or 4 maybe appearances in the playoffs and things. So it's a great opportunity for us in our program in a lot of ways, but it's even a better opportunity for us to really measure where we are and how much we've grown.
Can't wait to watch your team show up. Ty has a question for you.
Coach Fickell, at this point, anytime a major job opens up, your name is the first one out there for who they really want to go out and get. Does that ever become a distraction? Obviously you're locked in. You guys are in a great position right now. You're trying to get a team to a playoff, but does it ever is it tough trying to maybe balance that? Like that stuff kind of finds its way to your desk no matter what when, like I said, every single time a job opens up, it's Luke Fickell's the favorite to take this.
Well, we don't talk about it a whole lot. Obviously, I think for us in the program, after year one where everybody was talking about getting rid of us to where we have gotten to now, we kind of embrace it to say, okay, hey, if they're talking about me, it's only because of what Desmond Ridder and those guys have done. And last year after the season, they were talking about Desmond Ridder and Myjai Sanders coming out early, and that's a tribute to the whole program and the whole team. So as a whole, we want those opportunities for whether it's for us as a coach, some of our our coordinators, our players. So we've kind of taken it a little bit different, to try not to allow it to distract us because it is what it is. We don't have control over that, but we embrace it to say, this is what we want each and every year, is them to either talking about me, our coordinators, our players leaving early because of what the team has done on the football field. And we give the credit to the team.
Yeah, because success will bring that type of attention. When you win, there's enough to go around. That doesn't mean necessarily everybody thinks that's going to be at the same place you're at. Because I remember, West Virginia tried to get his ass before this entire and Luke said, no, I ain't leaving Ohio. Yeah, Ohio guy. You know what I mean? I got to do the whole thing over there, state of Cincinnati. And you're a nice guy. The program's doing great in Cincinnati. Maybe in the mountains would have been able to do the same thing, but I appreciate it.
Had they had a kicker, I think I'd have went right away. They were a little down at the kicker position. You can't win championships without having a hell of a kicker.
Hey, I respect that, and that's why your team's good, by the way. Focus on all 3 sides of the ball. I appreciate that. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, Coach, when AJ Hawk doesn't have his Yuppie events to go to, he is typically on here. My question for you is, when you were first started coaching out for Ohio State, what type of things did you learn there? And also, how often did you have to tell General Bob Carpenter to shut the hell up?
Oh, my God. We don't have enough time to say how many times I had to do that. In general, I would often look at AJ and be like, how in the hell do you put up with this? But nonetheless, as a coach, you have to. But those guys were quite a unique crew right there. Let's just say this, that they all were different in their own rights, between Schlegel jumping out of closets and wrestling singlets and things, anything you could find to try to, lighten the whole mood of everything, to AJ Hawk. I'm not really sure he could ever explain exactly what he was supposed to do. Hey, AJ, what do you got here? I'm the flat defender. I said, well, we would call that a 1-2 whatever. Just know where the ball is, leverage it. Be yourself, please.
Oh my God! When that photo showed up on the whatever game, I forget what game. It was probably you guys playing against somebody. Obviously, that's why they would have the photo up on a college football game. You get it. But when this thing came up, I just thought about how absurd that room is. And if you could talk to that coach right there, the road, what would you? Is there anything that you would change? Anything you do differently, or just through your entire? Because it seems like you're right where you're supposed to be, but the coaching ranks stink. You're sleeping on couches and shit there for a while, aren't you? I mean, that's real in the coaching world.
Yeah, I would tell that guy that was coaching right there to take a deep breath. It gets better. And I don't mean it gets better with better players, because that's not the case. But what those guys may have put me through in every other day or every day, I'm not sure I've had to go through. Now, Saturdays were awesome. They were going to play. You knew they were going to make plays. But sometimes Monday through Friday, I'm telling you, between squirrels being shot in the parking lot and hung in people's lockers, you can't imagine what some of those guys would have come up with. And it was just nice that by their senior year they had all kind of grown up a little bit, that I didn't have to worry about some of those other things.
You're telling me they weren't your Buckeye heroes, dude?
They were heroes, all right.
Coach, you're the absolute best. Congrats on all the success. Good luck this weekend. Tell everybody in Cincinnati we said hello. You have an incredible staff and crew over there. I'm excited to watch you guys continue to ascend, sir.
I appreciate it, man. Good luck. I know you got Friday night stuff too, but hopefully you can not get too much going on Friday night. You're still healthy enough to be able to watch these games and everything on Saturday.
Absolutely, pal. I can't wait. Ladies and gentlemen, head coach of the University of Cincinnati Bearcats football team, number 7 in the country right now, going into Notre Dame as a favorite in Notre Dame. Think about that, Coach. At Cincinnati, that's awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Luke Fickell.
Yeah!